when we are sizing up the landscape, it's different for all the systems, like for dev, for quality, for production. We have to take care while size the hardware for production. As we know, we have to plan for next 6 years minimum. But in most of the European countries, the size is for only 5 years. They scrap after 5 years. But in India, they use maximum 6 to 7 years. As we work in many clients, I saw they use for 6 years. After that, plan for changing of the hardware because SAP will not take responsibility if anything goes wrong. Sixth and seventh year. Yes. For sizing, what we have to do? We have to fill some documentation. Who will give the document? Who will give information? Information provided by the customer only. So it is a tool. It's a tool provided by SAP. It is a form. In that form, you have to ask customers few question is like, what is your peak time? What is your downtime? Um, how many uh, how many users are there in your company? Like what you are going to log into the system. So depending upon few information gathered from the management, you send same information to the SAP. This is the information I have got from this client. Those called as SAPs, SAPS, SAPS. Okay. Then what SAP does? SAP analyze everything for you, and they just add 15% to that and send it back to you. How much? 15%, no problem. Then what you have to do? You have to add 10 more percent because it may happen 10% more or less, no problem. After that, you have to take approval from the management. This is the hardware which we require for the production. So once you tell out production, the same hardware they have to take for sandbox. Okay. Why? Because you just put all your data into sandbox like a system for system call purpose, or if you want to check your backup is done properly or not. Where do you check? You're not going to check on your production server. You have to check it on sandbox every 3 months, 6 months. Put your load your server and upload your database backup and see whether backup is working or fine or not. Or you have to do any R&D. The size is required same. You want to do upgrade after few years. You want say you have to put your dump into sandbox and you have to first upgrade your sandbox because of that reason sandbox if you increase one core in production you have to increase same course in pre-production also. This is about a this is about a sandbox. These are sizing. Now second part comes the selections, hardware selection for project after sizing, the main part. This is not like small hardware you go and purchase from the market and go come back one day. No. SAP provide you some vendors. SAP provide you few vendors around the world, either in India, Singapore, Dubai, wherever you are, no problem. So according to your reach, they will provide some hardware vendors who are collaborating with SAP only. So what is the purpose to buy hardware from them? Because if anything goes wrong, hardware, they will give immediate service and the replacement in 8 hours for production servers. The production totally is down, CPU is down, RAM is down, motherboard is not working, any problem, no issue, but they will replace it on in place because they come to your place in 8 hours. That is the purpose, and they will give us service because they know it's a production server. The system is totally down. If anything goes wrong, okay, for that reason, they will give you immediate service of 8 hours. But they charge hefty amount charges for this kind of things. For example, IBM, for example, HP, Lenovo, Dell. These are the few vendors in India. If you see, many other vendors are there uh, in throughout the world who are they are doing this business from last 40, 45 years. A trusted business. And if anything goes wrong, if you purchase from anywhere as you want to save some money, for somewhere else, it will work for few days. If anything goes wrong, nobody react to your thing. Then if production down means system is down. If it will take 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, you have to upload system, start your system. To avoid all such things, you have to purchase hardware from the licensed vendor because the license hardware which they are sending They test it initially properly. It should not give any issue for next minimum 5 to 6 years. Okay, that is the reason why you have to select the hardware after sizing. You have sizing, you order. You order hardware today. It will come minimum 20 days to reach your destination. And unpack the hardware. How you unpack the hardware? You have to unpack the hardware in front of the vendor person only. Very important. But sometimes there's some mispart, hardware get damaged. There are no papers proper. You have to check PO and your hardware. PO and the hardware, the CPU, RAM, everything in front of vendor only. Unpack of hardware is very important part because if you say please put here, you'll go and check. No, you should tell after hardware comes, you call the vendor. The hardware has come. Please send somebody. They are nearby you. Okay, they'll come to you in a day or two. You hardware it properly in front of him only. If everything looks fine, no crack, nothing, you tell install OS immediately and check everything as per the requirement they send it or not. And the damages, scratches, the broken because mostly hardware comes through shipping, the by roadways, like anything would happen with the containers, anything. So you have to check everything properly before signing off the PO. Okay, it's very important part. Many times hardware get damaged in traveling. Okay, sometimes it is not start only because of some issues. We don't know. You have to don't sign any PO. You have to check everything properly from your side. Your personal also your company people also will there with you. You have to check everything and then give that. There is a decision you have to take very carefully. Now hardware has been done. Now the DB selection. How you do DB selection? You are not the person who will do DB selection. Who will do DB selection? DB selection done by a customer person. SAP gives options. Now tell me what are the options you have for DB in ECC earlier? What options we have? Oracle, MaxDB, DB2, Sybase, SQL. Now HANA. Now HANA. So do you know any of other database which work with SAP? No. Only Oracle, MaxDB, DB2, Sybase, and SQL. These are the few databases works on your SAP system. So do you know, Manjunath, any other database which works on SAP? As per your knowledge, your friend's knowledge. Now, network establishment for the landscape. So what is the network establishment? You have to check the hardware, the network part of the company, how network flows throughout the throughout the organization. Here you have to meet their network engineer, network team lead. They will provide you with the network, the initial network diagram. Depending upon that, you have to choose the place where to put the newly purchased hardware. Here you have to do network establishment for the landscape. Who will help you this? The network team people, the IT manager will help you with the latest network diagram. There you have to choose where you can put your this newly purchased hardware with, and you have to ask for few IP addresses from the IT manager or network team where you have to book a space for your SAP and you have to put these things in a range like 1.0.0.10 to 1.0.0.30, 35, 25 depends. But you have to book this for next 5 to 6 years. Initially, you install 3 to 4 systems, but afterwards you can install as many systems you want in coming future. But you have to block those IP address from network team. If any other person come for any other software, they will take the your IP, last IP, then choose new IP. We have to be very careful by choosing these kinds of IP addresses. We will provide you the network team, IT team manager will provide you with the IP addresses. Then you have to, and here you have to block some ports, and you have to mainly open some ports which require to install SAP. You know the port numbers. You have to give few port numbers. You have to check the port numbers for telnet is open or not. If something goes void or not opening, you have to ask a router team people. They will open a ports for you, block unblock port for you, like 80, 443, 25. These are few ports which needs to be active for the SAP installations. This is router config for blocking on unblocking. Who will help you? The router team will help, network team only. They will look after some one person is there who dedicatedly work for the routing. Now, the main thing, creation of file system on Windows or Linux. Who will create this? Who will create this? Don't here
Which which
com-
team?
company
Yeah.
vendor company sends these people to create. If it is a Linux, like
Yeah.
hardware people, IBM or
But
Lenovo, if you take
that.
purely Linux, they will only come and install that Linux. Or Linux is a thing which needs to be installed by certified consultant only. You can also install, I can also install. But there is any mishap, if anything goes wrong, the installation will not success at all. If it all success, it will not go for so long. Okay, so we have to do it via certified vendors, and most of the times I have seen that person from vendor only comes and do the task for you, and because he did many places the same thing, we create a file system also for you, but you have to you ask for few spaces, like what would be space you require for this according to assumptions and your requirement. You have to give spaces, like for the default paths for Linux, like var, temp, root, slash. Okay, these are the. Then you have to give USRCP trans, data file, dump, um, Oracle installation, app installation, like all this you have to give. They have to create total file system and mount that file system. Creating files is not important. They have to mount and give it to you. You check it properly. If everything is fine, you start your installation. But in case of Windows, here also OS team will do. They will know. You also suggest them how much unit space in C, D, E, F drives. Accordingly, they will plan and give it to you. For example, here you are taking few of the spaces from the, like approximate 500 GB for your recipe SID, 100 GB Oracle SID, 500 GB backup, 300 GB. Okay, 300 GB initially, not for the whole time. Our system is up. In what happened, we have a NAS things available today. From NAS, you can add space anywhere, whatever you want. Nowadays, data hard the space is very cheaper. Previously, you were able to purchase space also, but nowadays space is very space RAM CPU. The total hardware is very you will get it very less cost nowadays. If you are experienced, you know that.
Yes.
And media dump, you can take 100 GB. And one thing I have to tell, always keep media within a range. Don't keep media in the network. Network means you sit in here and you have to you download your files which required for installation, and you keep it somewhere outside the building. Not possible. Don't do that. If you do, what happen? Everything is goes fine. If any glitch comes inside, like any network drop comes, your whole work's gone. You have to keep your dumps, you have to keep your dumps always in your system from where you create a file system. So what happened if few times net's also gone, no problem, nothing goes wide in your environment. The installation is going because it will read
Yeah.
and write everything from single drive. Drive change,
Yeah.
no problem. C, D, E or SAP. Linux, we keep different files, different nodes for file system. Nothing happened because it won't require any network to read inside the file system or inside the CDE drives. Okay.
And especially at slash dump directory, we should never keep the dump because that will be once the system is rebooted, then the whole thing will go in slash tmp especially.
Come again, sir. Please come again.
Yeah, especially in slash tmp in Linux, no slash tmp file system. We should never keep the dumps or any important files because that will get deleted after the system reboot.
Yes, exactly. Don't keep no. You keep. You
Just
create.
telling you, with
Yeah.
sometimes,
You create a folder called SAP
yeah,
dump, SAP media.
so,
Temporary TMP is no. Is for temporary only. It may get destroyed after
yeah,
restart. Like you do upgrade. When you
yeah,
do upgrade, it will write files in temp folder only. Once your upgrade is complete,
yeah,
the whole logs get shifted to USR trans log. Initially, the latest update you will get from USR trans TMP only.
yeah,
The live logs you can say. Okay, 3:35 p.m. You should know. If you know what happened 3:33, you have to check in temp folder only. Whether your
yeah,
update is running, whether it's stopped, you have to check ps-ef pipe grep, and then you could tile manage something. You will find to know key what happened to your installation or what happened to your upgrade or what happened to your patch upgrade, EHP upgrade, any upgrade. You can see my in temp folder only.
yeah,
And installation is done, then user access request, OS level, DB level, user access for, yeah. If you do, sometimes you have to do upgrades. Once you have to do upgrades, what are the three things you should take care of in upgrade? You have to check with the passwords. You have to check with the passwords. Which password? You don't blindly start upgrade or anything. When system is ready and you appoint for the upgrade, what you have to do? You have to take passwords, OSL password, DBL password, DDIC password, all because it asks for any password any point of time. If you lose the things, then it will take a days to get that password sometimes because the customer said, I don't know. Then you have to do from your side. That is the hectic activity. While doing upgrades, you have to get all passwords in place like Aura SID, SID ADM, schema password, DDIC password, 000 password, SAP star password, ongoing running client password. You have to keep access it properly. Whenever it asks for few passwords, you have to give those passwords and continue with things wherever it requires. And installation of dev server with proper SID, instance number, and the host name. We'll provide you all these things. You will get everything from the client. Client said, this is the host name you want. Yes, take it, give. This is the SID we require. Okay. And this is the instance number we require. You have to put that and start installation. These are the pre-activities. Okay. And what are the post activities? Once you are once your installation is done, so you have to run immediately the SGen kind of thing. What is SGen? What is SGen? Any idea? SGen is a transaction code.
yeah,
SGen is a transaction code. When you install system, the system is ready. Even installation, upgrade, anything you did once it's complete, your all files are scattered throughout the hard drive. Okay, you have to get it compiled at one place. If you run this, it will take 7, 8 hours, 6 hours, 5 hours, depending upon your data. If you have a fresh system, it will take 3 to 4 hours. Normal environment. What it does, it will like after installation, if you press SU01, it will take 2 to 3 minutes to get your screen. Second time again you press, it will take 2 minutes. Third time, 1.5 minutes. Fourth time, it will take 30 seconds. Then 2 seconds only. Because when you give command SU01, it recollect all things and try to show you things. It takes time. But if you do SGen, it will put all T codes, all programs at one place. You press SU01, you will get answer in less than 5 seconds after running SGen. You have to run SGen. If you forget to run SGen, you are going completing from users. We are not able to access the T codes. It will take time to for each T code.
mm,
After using T codes for four times, it will get it will get immediately. But users started completing. You are not able to access T codes. It will take time because
mm.
what their mind ACP means, they will get everything in 2 seconds.
Yeah, what exactly it does actually? Internally, what exactly it's going to do internally?
Internally, it compiles all the programs properly. It read, write all the programs, put SU0 on all files at one place,
Mm,
STMS all files at one place, whatever you want, everything. You
okay.
know, in SAP, we have more than lakhs of programs, lakhs of tables, lakhs
Mm,
of transaction ports. It put everything at one place. Whenever you ask anything, you will get information in front of you in few seconds if you run
okay.
SGen. Like when you
Mm,
do installation, you experience without SGen, then run SGen, experience it, you will get more information once you did activity from your side. Okay.
yeah. So it is very essential to run after every new installation in the system, right?
It's very, very essential to run SGen.
Mm,
The first
mm.
step you have to do
Step.
SGen only.
It is main, it's a post step. Yeah.
Post installation step, yes. Then upgrade system with latest kernel patches, spam before handing over. So don't once installation come, don't hand over system to users. Run SGen, upgrade system because you have to check patches, kernel upgrade, patch upgrade before handing system to the because once you hand system to users, they will start using and they will never give system. They have to again you have to send request this how all thing happen. Don't do all these things. You have to do whatever you want. Okay. Then only take it will take only 8 more hours, 6 more hours to all these steps properly. Then you can hand it over. No issues. Okay. Then main thing configure your HTMS. We did HTML. Every development server, you just configure it for single system. When quality is ready, configure two systems. When production ready, configure for three systems. Like development, you have to just create one domain controller and keep system ready. When quality is ready, you have to add that member as domain controller quality server and make two-way landscape. When production is ready, you have to make member in the domain of production also and then make a routes and start your HTML things as early as possible. So you know the golden rules how to start HTML funnel, I think. Okay. You have to do it from 000 client
Mm,
and you have to log in all clients for HTML code and initially you have to choose that who will be the domain controller. Depending upon that, one is domain controller, remaining all systems are member of domain controller. And you have to put routes also. Once done, routes also, you have to it will get two routes, Z route and standard route. Okay. The first system known as consolidated system, second system known as a target system. Okay. Consolidation means quality system and target means your production server. These are the few games for HTMS.
mm,
Then once when you create a development server, hand it over to development team or functional team after creating the users. How it system performing and all. Okay. The development team who will use the development server end
mm.
user never use.
Developers
Only
only. Yeah.
your functional consultant and functional consultant and the
Develop.
developers that
Mm,
the developers will use your development system. You have to create different clients. You have to create users also. Few users, very few users. Initially, it has got 12 users, 10 users, 12 users, maximum 6 users, depending upon size of your team. You create users and ask your manager, what approach should I give to this function? You have to maximum give. Sometimes they ask for SAP all, or sometimes you have to give specific transaction to their modules. But no problem. Here all experienced people, if you even give SAP all, no issues. They will work on their environment only because sometimes SD will require MM things, some MM will require FI things, FI will require SD things. You have to give mostly SAP all to each users in the servers. And The client 100 is ready. Golden client, people start working. Then 110, the developers. You have to create developers. You have to register your developers. You have to, because you have to purchase separate license for developers. You cannot make developers anybody. In developers, you see maximum two developers when start the project, then four, then five. You have to pay licensing cost for each developer and you have to register with a proper key. Registration key is there. You have to register each developer with that key. Then only you can able to do write a program and edit the program. Writing program is not important. Writing, editing, you can go and read all things in the server. If I log in 110, I don't see anybody because it say if I start writing program, it says it give error, register yourself. Get registered yourself with a system admin. You come to base only for registration. You can tell this to if they ask you have to pay licensing cost for each user in production plus each user as a who work as a developer. The developer has very limited number of users. Then functional config. Then you have to see functional config. What is this functional config?
Means functionality means whatever they use all the features now in functional they should
Yes,
configure it.
validation test and all these things, checklists, functional config checklist, you have to take care, everything goes fine because initially no end user include with you, you are with a team and you have very limited access. What access you have in development server, you can take backup every day, okay, and you can give some authorization if they require. Other than that, you don't do anything in 100, 110 because if anything goes wrong from your side, you will be liable for that because the development team never allow any new user or fresher log into client 100 and 110 also is taking care for developers. They won't allow anybody to log in initially for minimum 3 months, 3 to 4 months, depending upon size of the project. They will do only config every day morning. They will test it where they, we have done the landscape 100, 110, 120. So 100, 110, the function will work, and 120, they will take the things and take approval. And because they have got processes, they have to build 120, 130 processes around throughout the project. They will take approvals and just going implementing things, like developing things as well as are required. I'm talking especially for development box. Okay. Functional as a scenario sign off prior to test and quality. Functional test cases before move to quality. Yeah. Here manager will take sign off. Manager will give sign off. This process is fine. That process is fine. When document is signed off, then only you are also able to move the things to the quality. Who will take decision here? Your team lead, your project manager. If things are working fine, and he'll check the process as per the requirement of the customer, then you can move things to the production. So for this production thing, what you require, you have to build your quality server while people are working in development box. Don't wait till last day because for installation of server, upgrade to make server ready, it will take minimum 15 10 days minimum it requires, slowly and steadily. Okay. Don't be in a hurry. You have enough time in implementation. Do it and upgrade it with all latest patches. Then only you can hand over system to the people. The development server, common activities, take backup, schedule backup cycle. Like it should be automated every day. It will done. You have to check every day the T code. My backup is done properly or not because if they did any mistake, you can restore things to the last minute. What they expect from you, if anything goes wrong, you can able to recover things till last minute, not last day. Okay. For that purpose, you have to schedule proper backups, not for development, quality production, everything. Once all landscape is ready, you have to take more priority for production boxes. Your development, you can take backup only once in a day, 2 days in a no problem. But backup you have to take every day for production server. The schedule standard background jobs. These are called background jobs, which can remove your spools, your dumps, and make system ready every day night after 12 o'clock. All these jobs get run, and they will make system ready for next day usage. Then you have to setting up for HTTP, HTTPS, SMICM, and SMLG. These are the these are the ICM ports which we need to configure. Okay, so people can easily access the system on portals also. Okay, then setting up of profiles in RZ10, like RZ10 we did, where you can do few parameter changes for accessing the systems properly, like you know how many should be dialog, how many backgrounds are there, or there are few parameters for SAP nodes. You have to change and restart your system before handing our system to the users. Which users? End users. Then setting up a SCC for client, like we did. Yes, we did or not this SCC for client. There are different settings for development server, different settings for quality server, and different settings for production server. Are you agree with
No.
me?
What is that, sir? CC please.
So we did client config na in SCC4, like whether you can able to create request, or you cannot able to create request, or you can modify things or cannot modify things. You just open that
Mm.
client administration, where you
Yes.
can see the SCC4. We explained it properly, everything in SCC4. If you have any issues, I'll show it one more time. No issues. Okay.
Yeah.
Then SC06, you have to decide, because a manager to decide whether client should modifiable or not modifiable. Development is modifiable, quality production is non modifiable. Make your workflow adjustments like this. Workflow adjustments, this one, dialogues and all. And to create two super users, okay, like firefighter and all, and you have to keep it in a safer side. If everything gone, this type of users will help you out. Okay. To perform local client copy and create new users from 000. What is the local client copy, and what is why you require this 000 new client? Because SAP give only three clients: 000, 001, and 066. You have to create the actual client 100, 110, 120, 150, 300, 500. Why doing this? Local client copy only. Once you system is ready, you have to create client. Now assigned by number assigned by customer, then only people can start working on the actual client created by you. These are the standard clients. Nobody will able to log in, only basis has access to log into this 000 kind of thing. Now, yeah, you have to add some parameters. Okay, like add parameter, client parameter, new parameter, and default client login. So all this you understand when you start working implement. The default login means initially it takes 000 only, but you have to put what is default quality. 350 is a client, you have to put default client 350. Production 450, you have to keep 450. Development box, always you need to change the clients properly, because you can choose only one client, but development we have 3 to 4 clients. Very carefully while logging development server, you have to choose proper client, which is 100, a 110, a 120. Okay. So credentials users are different for all clients. Users are different for all clients. No user. If you create user in 120, you will get user 120 only. You cannot access that user ID in 110 or 100. You have people get habitual to 2 days it will take. Then they can easily log into their client only. Run as Gen to objects in the process. Keep all required objects accessed in SAP buffer so that transition accessing becoming a very faster. Then here configure setup of interfaces between the different modules. If there are some third party softwares are there where you have to send your data or receive your data. For the purpose, you have to configure few interfaces. So Once you configure all these things, then you are ready to handing over a system to the team. Which team? Development team. You have to see all this step properly. If you see all these and practice properly in piece of paper, then you will also ready. You can say, I have done the implementation. This is just for development. We have seen. We have a quality server also. Everything looks fine in quality. Few things are different. In production also, everything is fine. Few things are different. We will discuss these also. But in production, we have to see few more things like post installations, hypercare support, backup timings, and all. Okay, and here we have to create um, users, roles, quality also few roles. The production we have to create many roles, and you have to test many roles before giving to the production servers. No problem. We'll do this also, but we'll do these things tomorrow. Okay, I'll send this video to right away after some time. Go through this, and what I'm saying, you please come with some problems, anything. You just read some implement documents if you have. Okay, come back tomorrow. I'll try to complete quality and production tomorrow. Okay, then you're done with the implementation part. I have got one more page to show you for the implementation. Like this is the thing.
Uh,
Yeah,
Sometime
this also
some type of kind of real time which would all the packages, so real time landscaping.
didn't get you. Come again, sir. Some.
Okay. No, like when you do the real time landscaping, no, for a new implementation, so that time you require this kind of, right?
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Implementation means purchasing. I told you we are going to purchase hardware. It is means is a greenfield implementation where you purchase hardware and you
Mm,
print PO. Print PO means after implementation. Purchasing hardware means very initial stage. Printing PO means last stage of implementation. It is a total greenfield implementation. We can say ASAP methodology. Where you have
mm,
got few things requirement gathering, everything gets a blueprint, requirement gathering, realization phase,
mm,
test phase, and after last is go live phase, post go live phase. Everything is going to cover in this implementation thing. Okay, yeah, got I'll talk this implementation also. What type of project to implement a project, support project, upgrade project, and here you can see the real implementation part. What else you have to do? ECC test for migration. We have the topic on this also. ECC test for migration. See here what you have to do.